Welcome to the Just Go Explore podcast. On this episode, we're going to take a deep dive into everything you need to know about planning a trip to Glacier National Park in 2026. Hi there, we're Kelley and Carl from Kelley and Carl's Adventures, and we are on a mission to visit all 63 U.S. national parks. And as of this recording, we have visited 42.
Woohoo!
If you are joining us on the audio version of this podcast, you can also, and we would highly recommend for this episode, check out our YouTube channel where you can see the video format, which will include some different features, including pictures and maps and some other fun things to make this a little more interactive.
Yeah. Definitely check out our YouTube if you're interested. It definitely will give you some ideas on some of the areas that we're talking about. And I'm wearing my Glacier National Park shirt, so you can also see that too.
Yeah. So let's go ahead and dive in.
Sounds good. So we want to first talk about a few fun facts about Glacier. So first off, Glacier was formed by ancient ice. So it has these dramatic U-shaped valleys, and it's basically because there were these massive glaciers here during the Ice Age. So it's crazy to think about these valleys being full of these giant glaciers, but that's kind of how they were formed. And then, over thousands of years, this area, these valleys and everything were sculpted. And yeah, it's pretty crazy to think about the history behind Glacier and how it was formed.
Yeah. And because of these glaciers, as some of them have melted and just naturally through the normal environment of the years, there are over 700 lakes within the park.
That's a lot of lakes.
But only 130 of them have been named.
Crazy.
Yeah. So there's a lot more that need to be named. The park rangers need to get on it.
Well, Glacier it's a huge park, and then a lot of it's not really like explored by people. Like it's not really accessible to most people.
Yeah.
So
No, we're just kidding about that part. Like there are only 130 named, but
yeah, there's some beautiful ones.
Some beautiful ones.
Yeah.
Of all of the 700, Lake McDonald, which is probably the most famous of all of them, is the largest.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, and it's known for its colorful rock pebbles.
Yeah. It was cool seeing that when we were there. Like the rock pebbles and stuff are definitely colorful, like different colors and stuff. So that was really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's pretty.
Yeah. And a lot of people do like kayak tours on the lake there and stuff too. So definitely recommend checking that lake out.
Yeah. Any other fun facts?
Yes. I don't think this one's fun, but it is a fact. So the glaciers are disappearing, unfortunately. So the park once had over 150 glaciers in the 1800s, but then over the last 200 years, they've basically been melting. So there's only 25 active glaciers currently in the park. And then of the 25 that are left, unfortunately, it is predicted by some scientists that over the next couple of decades that those will be disappearing altogether. So unfortunately, with climate change and kind of how our climate's evolved over time, the glaciers are disappearing, and it's really sad.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, on a more fun fact note.
Yeah.
Not so depressing. The main road that most people know Glacier for, going to the Sun Road, considered an engineering marvel in itself, is a 50-mile road that stretches across the park. Took a full decade to build.
That's crazy. That's a long time.
Yeah, it was completed in 1933.
Okay. It's also been around longer than I thought, too.
Yeah. Another a fun fact about going to the Sun Road is that it actually crosses the Continental Divide.
Oh, okay.
And this is at Logan Pass, which we will talk about in more detail later in this episode. It's considered one of the most scenic drives in in
I can attest to that. It's beautiful. It's definitely in our top
stunning.
5, I would say. Yeah, definitely in our top 5 for sure. Probably our top 3.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
Yeah.
Very stunning. very beautiful. Lives up to the hype.
For sure.
So other fun facts about Glacier. So I wanted to talk a little bit about wildlife.
Yeah,
so
there's a ton of wildlife.
There is a lot of wildlife. First off, we have to talk about grizzly bears because everyone, hypes up how, grizzly bears are in Glacier. And then Glacier is home to one of the largest remaining populations of grizzly bears in the lower 48. So researchers have estimated that there's about 1,000 bears in Glacier, which is actually pretty crazy. It seems like a lot. But that does combine both black bears and brown bears. So just keep that in mind. I think the ratio is like 600 black bears to 400 grizzly bears, but not fully positive on that. But there was a higher percentage of black bears to grizzly bears, surprisingly. But either way, there is a population of bears to keep in mind and look out for. In terms of like identifying what's a grizzly bear versus what's a black bear, you don't want to look just at the coloring of the bear, because just because it's called a black bear doesn't mean it's actually black. Sometimes they're brown, sometimes they're cinnamon colored. Like there's different shades of coloring that black bears can have. So you really have to look at its shape essentially. Yep. So for a grizzly bear, you want to look and see if it has a hump. So that hump is indicative of a grizzly bear. Grizzly bears also have like a flatter, rounder face, and then they have like rounded ears as well. For black bears, they have more of a longer snout, and then they have pointed ears, and then they don't have the hump, obviously. So just things to keep in mind for identifying kind of the difference between the two.
Yeah.
Did you have any other wildlife that you kind of liked in Glacier?
I think the thing we saw the most was the mountain goats.
We saw a bunch of mountain goats. They're super cool, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and it's pretty crazy because they can scale along like the craziest cliffs. And we saw this firsthand. Like their hooves are like shaped in a way that allows them to literally climb near vertical cliffs. Like it's actually insane. Mm-hmm. I don't know, seeing them traverse along the rocks and cliff edges that they do and not fall. You kind of like watch them and you're like, please don't fall. Yeah. And they're totally in their element, that's just their day to day. So it's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
They also have bighorn sheep in Glacier. We saw some of those. Yep. So bighorn sheep, an interesting fact about them is that their horns, at least the males, their horns can be up to 30 pounds in weight.
That's crazy.
Isn't that crazy? I thought that was really crazy. And that's like, that can be equivalent to about 10% of their body weight, which is crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're a heavy creature.
Yeah. Yeah. They're very, And then they're dense too. And so the males with the really heavy horns and stuff, they can, especially during mating season, they're known to like smash horns and stuff, which would be pretty crazy to see. We didn't see that.
No.
But just pretty crazy to think about. And then another kind of...
Could you imagine carrying 30 pounds just on your head?
No, I cannot imagine carrying 30 pounds on my head.
Walking around.
Yeah, that would be pretty crazy.
Crazy.
Yep. It is pretty crazy. Other wildlife in Glacier. So there is a population of wolves in Glacier. You wouldn't know it because they aren't really seen. But they were nearly extinct in the 1800s. But nowadays they've kind of rebounded, and there is a population of gray wolves in Glacier, which is really cool.
Yeah.
Really happy to hear that. So that's cool. I don't think you'll see one, but it is cool to note. And then there's a lot of other animals too. We saw marmots.
Yeah.
There's
birds. Birds.
Yeah, there's lots of animals. So, but super cool, super fun facts about all the wildlife that's in Glacier.
Yeah.
Any other fun facts?
Yeah. Say there are over 700 miles worth of trails within the park.
That is crazy.
Yeah. Ranging from easy walks to intense hikes. It kind of has like trails for everybody.
Yeah, I feel like you could literally spend years at Glacier and not run out of things to do.
So it's definitely a hiker's dream.
Absolutely. Definitely.
If you enjoy hiking, this is the park for you.
Yeah, definitely. Especially like U.S. National Park wise, definitely like top tier hiking destination. Yeah.
Anything from day hikes to backcountry hikes, easy to hard.
Yeah.
Like everything.
Yeah.
Say, on top of this, Glacier is also considered to be the crown of the continent.
Interesting. What does that mean?
So it's considered this because of the ecosystems and the elevation ranges that it has within the park.
Okay.
Yeah, it's considered to be one of the most ecologically diverse regions in North America.
I can definitely see that. Like, you can go from the valley to like the alpine meadows to the top of these mountains, and then there's all sorts of diverse.
You got the lakes and the glaciers and
yeah, definitely is very diverse. Yeah, very interesting.
Yeah.
So,
you have any other fun facts?
I think that's all I had for fun facts today.
Okay, well, let's dive into the layout of the park then.
Yes. So Glacier is pretty big, like we mentioned. Like, you can spend hours driving from one end of the park all the way to the other end of the park. Like, if you're driving from like Lake McDonald to Many Glacier, it's going to be like 2 hours. So like, it definitely is a large park. So you're definitely going to want to keep that in mind. And then in terms of the layout, we wanted to talk about kind of 6 different regions and break down each region just so that you guys would have a better idea of what regions you wanted to explore and what was kind of within each region. Yeah. So the first one that we wanted to talk about was West Glacier. So this is going to be your Lake McDonald area. This is going to be where there's a visitor center there called Apgar Visitor Center. This is also where the trail for Avalanche Lake is. So that kind of Western Glacier area is the closest area to Kalispell and Whitefish, and some of those areas that are very accessible, lots of accommodations, lots of lodging and dining, and there's just a lot of built up kind of areas.
Where the nearest airport is.
Yeah, exactly. So all of that area is closest to this area. So closest to Lake McDonald, closest to West Glacier. And then also West Glacier is known for it has obviously the Lake McDonald Lodge is there. And that is this really cool lodge that's on Lake McDonald. It's really pretty. And then that lodge you can get to year round. So cool. This particular region of the park is the only region really that you can explore year round. So if you visit in the winter per se, they try to plow the roads in order for you to get to Lake McDonald Road. So technically that tiny part of going to the Sun Road from the visitor entrance to the Lake McDonald Lodge is plowed year round. So this is kind of a part of the park that you'll want to explore any time of year.
Yeah, I didn't realize you could explore it this time of year.
Yeah. And then with Lake McDonald, we kind of mentioned the pebbled lake and everything. So that's the lake with all the different rock pebbles and colors and stuff. So definitely want to explore that part of the park. And then, that's kind of the most famous or most like visited part of the park because of its accessibility.
Yeah. Well, second region is going to the Sun Road and Logan Pass. This part of the park is not open year round.
No.
It is often closed for a majority of the year.
Yep.
And as we already mentioned, going to the Sun Road is one of the most scenic drives in the park, taking you through, dense cedar forest, alpine meadows. It has large dramatic cliffs, which for some people can freak them out while they're driving. But it takes you to the iconic Logan Pass area. This is also the region that has some of the best hiking. Yeah. Including Highline Trail and Hidden Lake Overlook, which we'll get into more detail in a little bit.
Yeah. Definitely some very beautiful hikes in this region of the park. With going to the Sun Road, luckily I wasn't driving. Luckily Carl was, but it definitely can be a little sketchy for people. There's just like a little tiny rock wall. Yeah. And that's the only thing between you and the edge of the cliff.
Yeah. And sometimes that rock wall is not always there.
Yeah. So just keep that in mind.
But there are some pull-offs along the way. So we'd highly recommend, if you are someone who is not the most comfortable with driving the road, use the pull-offs to allow other people to pass, or just to stop and enjoy the road to take a break from driving. If you're wanting to take in the views, we highly recommend stopping at these to take in the views instead of trying to drive and look at all the scenery at the same time, because the road is fairly narrow and in some spots is like hard for two cars to just pass.
You definitely want to stay on your side.
Stay on your side of the road. Pay attention. We definitely saw plenty of people who wanted to drive up the middle of the road because they were not comfortable driving the road, and they were going slow and up the middle, which made it very difficult for cars to pass.
No, please don't be those people.
So just, drive at whatever speed's comfortable for you, but drive on your side of the road. And then if there is cars behind you, use the pull-offs to allow them to pass if they are a little more confident in their driving abilities or comfortable being on those roads.
Definitely.
It's a road that gets very busy. It's well known. So earlier in the day, the less crowded it is. But as the day progresses, it does get busier.
It probably took us half the time when we went early morning as opposed to when we went later in the day.
You often find people driving like 5 miles per hour in the middle of the day.
I wouldn't say 5, but very slow.
Very slow.
Very slow. It felt like 5 miles an hour.
Yeah. I think we did get down to like 8.
Oh, snap. Well, I mean, you were driving, so you would know.
But this area is known for it's wildlife. There are a lot of mountain goats, and you saw them whether you were on the trail or driving the road.
We saw some literally from our vehicle driving this area of going to the Sun Road. And
the other wildlife that is known in this area is bighorn sheep, marmots. There's obviously bear activity that happens along this part of the park, but it is known for its views and its wildlife.
We definitely saw the most wildlife in the park in this region. Yeah, absolutely, hands down.
But this part, like the going to the Sun Road, is typically open from late June through September to early October, but that all depends on when snowfall happens. So for when it opens, how much snow they've gotten through the winter and spring, and then the closing of it, how early they get like that first snowfall.
Exactly.
So just be cognizant of that with planning. If you want to be confident that you're going to be able to drive, you're looking at and exploring this region of the park, you're looking at July, August, September.
Those are the months.
October's questionable, and late June is questionable. Depends year to year. So really looking like July through September.
For that road to be open.
That road to be open and that region to be open.
So that leads to the third region. So we've talked about Lake McDonald and then that going to the Sun Road. So, and then once you go along going to the Sun Road, you'll get to the eastern side of the going to the Sun Road. So we kind of classified this region as St. Mary and Rising Sun. So this is your eastern gateway to the park. This is where your eastern entrance to the going to the Sun Road is. There is a visitor center. The St. Mary Visitor Center is on this side. You can explore the Rising Sun area of the park. So this in Rising Sun, you can catch a boat. You can do like a little boat tour around the St. Mary Lake there. Looks really cool. We didn't unfortunately get to do that, but if we go back, we will definitely have to do that.
Yeah, we will definitely get back to do that.
Yes. Yeah. We definitely want to get back to Glacier. It's so definitely an experience that we want to get back to. And then also there's like Wild Goose Island is a really cool overlook that's there, overlooking like this little island on this lake with the beautiful mountains in the background.
It's really pretty.
It's really pretty. I have seen photos of that area at sunset. So just a place that you can keep in mind for sunset if you're interested. definitely a cool little spot. And then there's also a waterfall hike in this region. So there is the St. Mary and Virginia Falls Trail. That is a cool waterfall hike that's in that kind of region. So that is the third region. So you think Lake McDonald, going to the Sun Road and Logan Pass to St. Mary, and then Rising Sun. So that's all kind of one road, but 3 different regions. And then we'll talk about the fourth region.
Yeah, so the fourth region is the Many Glacier area. This is also another very popular area within the park. It's on the eastern side of Glacier National Park.
Yeah, and I will say it's like north of like St. Mary. So if you drive north, that's where you'll get to Many Glacier.
It's often considered the heart of the park for hikers and wildlife lovers. Many Glacier also has a hotel in that area. It's a historic, charming little lodge, and it overlooks the lake.
Swift Current Lake is the lake that's there, yeah.
Which is just really stunning. It's a place, even if you're not staying there, there is a restaurant that you can eat at, and there's that's the primary spot for restrooms, and you can sit out on the deck. They have nice, cute little rocking chairs that you can just enjoy your time and just
it's really charming. Yeah, it's really cute. I really loved that lodge. We didn't even stay there, but they allow like visitors to come inside, and like there are rangers that are stationed there and stuff too that you can ask questions. It's not like an official visitor center, but they do allow like visitors to come and stop by and use their facilities. And
that's where you can find out like trail conditions and like if they had to close, where bear activity might be, or other things is all kind of based out of that.
Exactly. Hotel. We went in mid-July, and then when we went inside, they basically were able to tell us exactly which parts of what trails were currently open at that point in time. So
this area of the park is known for its turquoise lakes. Is it the only area of the park that has turquoise lakes, or is it just the most famous, the most like there's so many lakes that are next to each other that are all like different colors of turquoise. Yeah, they were very stunning. It's known for its towering peaks. It's also has Grinnell Glacier Trail is located within this region. Yeah. And it's known to be one of the most photogenic parts of the park, which I would definitely agree with.
I agree with that too. Yeah, it was beautiful. It was stunning. Like if you want to do a lot of hiking, going to the Sun Road has the best like hiking with wildlife. And then if you want to do hiking with like scenic views, then like Many Glacier is definitely like very beautiful. Yeah. Yeah. So very cool. So that was the fourth region. So then if we go south, but still on the eastern side of the park, we'll get to the fifth region of the park. So that would be Two Medicine. So in terms of your like map layout, if you go to St. Mary and then you go south, then you'll get to Two Medicine. So Two Medicine is a quieter, less crowded area of the park. It's known for like Two Medicine Lake is there. So that's like what it's mostly known for. There are also some cool hikes to places like Running Eagle Falls. It's just known for being pretty quiet, pretty serene, but beautiful views. Pretty cool place to explore. So that's the fifth region.
Yeah, and the sixth region and the final region that we'll cover is North Fork and Pole Bridge. And this is located in relation
to our map?
Yeah.
So this will be in the western side of the park, but north of Lake McDonald in that area.
This is the most remote and rugged region of the park. Yeah. Characterized by unpaved roads, fewer amenities, and a true backcountry feel. To get to this part of the park, you will need a high clearance 4-wheel drive vehicle. This is another part of the park that we unfortunately did not get to in our time there, but a place we definitely want to explore.
Yeah, we definitely want to get back to. I've heard really good things about the Pole Bridge. I think it's the Pole Bridge Bakery there too. So definitely check that out if you're in that region. Yeah. So that's kind of the layout of Glacier.
What time of year would you recommend
Ooh,
visiting?
definitely in the summer. So definitely like July through September. Those 3 months are the time to go if I were to recommend a time. It's just when you go outside of those times, it's not a guarantee that things will be open. So, going to this.
You really want to be able to explore all of the
Exactly.
Then,
going to the Sun Road is only open usually late June, but you can't necessarily rely on that.
Yeah.
So I would recommend July. And then even in early July, like some of the hikes were still closed last year in early July. When we went, like the week before we went, you couldn't do like Highline Trail, but the week we went, Highline Trail had just opened. So like even mid-July can kind of be pushing it. In theory, I would recommend like at the earliest mid to late July.
Yeah.
And then at the latest September. It just kind of depends on the snowfall and stuff too, because I don't know. It's hard to time it perfectly, but those are the times that I would recommend. So it's hard.
Yep. So you can still visit, as we mentioned, like other parts of the park different times of the year.
Yeah.
And it can still be really pretty in the winter and different things. But if you want to experience everything,
Yes. If you want your best chances of doing like the hikes that you want and exploring going to the Sun Road, that's just what we'd recommend, even if it means it's crowded, because it's going to be crowded.
There's no way to avoid crowds because it's such a small window and everybody wants to see everything.
Yep, exactly.
So speaking of hikes.
Yeah. Do you have any favorites?
Yeah. Highline Trail was by far my favorite hike.
Interesting. Mm-hmm.
I think it was just, you had like 360 views everywhere, lots of wildlife.
Yeah. There wasn't a dull moment, that's for sure.
That was definitely a very enjoyable hike. It's 12 to 13 miles, but it wasn't like, it was strenuous, but not crazy strenuous.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's just gradual elevation gain over time. There are definitely parts that are steeper than others, but there was a lot of just flat walking.
Yeah, it wasn't too bad. I will say, like, we did a specific route that tends to be less strenuous for people.
Yeah, that is true. It starts from Logan Pass, from the visitor center. And as it starts from there, there are a lot of cliffside paths, which it does have a rope section. So, like, if you are scared of drop-offs, like, you do have something to hold on to. But it is something to just be aware of.
I mean, it's not bad, though.
No,
like,
it was not bad at all.
It's not like Angel's Landing or something crazy. No. Like, there's just, like, there's enough room for multiple people to be passing each other. Like, it's not anything crazy.
Nothing crazy.
It's just that I guess they want people to feel safe so they can hold on to the rope and stuff. But the ledges weren't that crazy, in my opinion. But
some other things to note is that for 2026 specifically, you will not be able to park at the Logan Pass Visitor Center parking lot and do this hike. They are limiting the parking lot, your parking time, to be 3 hours, and this hike definitely takes more than 3 hours.
At least if you do the full hike.
Yeah, if you do the full hike, but it doesn't mean you can't do a portion of the hike. Like, we definitely recommend, no matter what, doing at least a mile or two of Highline just to really be able to go into the park and see more than what you can see from the road and see some very dramatic views. They're just stunning.
Sweeping like valley views with mountains. It's just
and you're probably going to encounter wildlife even just within the first mile or two.
We encountered like 3 mountain goats within the first
and a bighorn sheep.
5 minutes of the did I say mountain goat? I meant bighorn sheep. We encountered 3 bighorn sheep within the first 5 minutes of hiking on that trail.
So it's definitely like something we'd recommend. And if you don't want to have to deal with the 3 hour time limit, like, hike for an hour and a half, and then hike back. That way you can experience as much as you can, but still have the convenience of having your car right there.
Yeah, definitely worth doing either way. If you wanted to know our route, we started at Logan Pass, and then we went all the way down to the Loop trailhead, and then we got a shuttle from there.
Yeah, shuttled back to the visitor center.
Yeah, exactly. So that's how we did it last year, but we were also able to park at the visitor center. But if you wanted to do this hike this year, you just have to start with getting the shuttle to Logan Pass, and then you'll do the whole 12 to 13 miles from Logan Pass to the Loop, and then you take the shuttle at the Loop. So
yeah.
It's definitely still doable in 2026. There's just some different kind of planning things you have to take into account, and we'll go over a little bit more of that soon here.
Yeah. And another thing you can add from this hike, you can add multiple different hikes. There's different offshoots, and you want to talk about the one we did?
Yeah, so we did Garden Wall Trail. So this is like an offshoot trail from Highline Trail, and it involves climbing about 1,000 feet of elevation gain over about a mile up. So it's very steep. It's pretty it's very steep and just very fatiguing, and then like the ground is like a lot of rocks and stuff that can be slidey and not super, people might have trouble with their footing essentially. Yeah, exactly. But once you trek that grueling mile uphill, you get to the most beautiful overlook, and it is insane. I'm telling you, like, it overlooks many glaciers. So you're overlooking another area of the park, and then you can see 4 to 5 like different alpine lakes up there.
Yeah, these are all the turquoise lakes we were talking
exactly.
about. Exactly.
But you see them from above, and then like you are so high up there. The wind is a bit crazy, but it is so stunning, and like the views make it so worth it. Did you want to tell them about what else we saw up there?
Yeah, so we as soon as we got up there, and we're like, whoa, this view is incredible. Let's like find a spot, sit down, and like just enjoy it. And then like as we found our spot, we started hearing these noises. And we're like, what is that? Like, is the glacier like about to collapse or what?
What's going on?
Like, and then all of a sudden, this family of mountain goats just like starts popping up over the edge. Like, how did they get here?
Cute.
And then a baby, popped over.
Literally, the little baby.
Little baby.
Oh my gosh!
And then eventually, like they all got up there, and the baby like kind of got comfortable and just like plopped down.
Yeah.
And just took everything in and looked at everybody.
Yeah, the baby was so cute. And it was so curious too. Like it literally stood there on this rock, like looking at us, like right next to us. Like we were not going towards it. We were just chilling where we were. We had been there for a while, and these mountain goats and like the little baby was just looking at us like it was like, who are these people? Like, who are these things? Like, what is going on? Like, just really curious. And then he just plopped down and was just chilling there literally right next to us. And it was the cutest thing ever. Yeah. Oh my gosh. It was like a core memory for sure. And then they eventually like got up and they started going like up the cliffs and like. Yeah,
eventually got to the top, and then it would just like poke their heads over and start calling to each other. Like,
yeah, they'd like poke their little head out, and then, it was just so cute. That mountain goat family was like the most adorable thing ever.
Yeah, it took a hike that was like, oh, this is definitely worth it, to like, okay, this really made it worth it.
Exactly.
That experience.
It was definitely
The funny thing is,
crazy.
like, we got to the turnoff for this trail. We're looking at it, and we're like, do we want to do this? Do we not?
Like is it going to be worth it?
Elevation,
yeah.
2 more miles. Like,
yeah. Like we're already pushing it with mileage today. Like, do we really want to do this?
And then so like we asked some people who had like come down the trail. They're like, is it worth it? And they're like, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. They were.
But it is difficult.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
they're like, if you can handle the extra elevation, like it's absolutely worth it, essentially.
And we will say the same thing. Like, if you can handle the extra elevation, it is completely worth it.
Yeah. Yep. Exactly. Yep. Highly recommend that Garden Wall Trail if you have the chance and opportunity to do it. It is strenuous. It will require getting a shuttle ticket because there's no way you can get to Garden Wall and back to Logan Pass within the 3 hours.
Yeah.
So you'll have to take the shuttle in order to be able to do this trail. But super pretty. Even if there wasn't the wildlife, it would have been worth it.
Yeah.
With the wildlife, it was like even better, but it was super cool.
Yeah. And there are multiple different hikes within the Highline Trail like region that you can do. Like, so on all trails, there's like Highline Trail. Yeah. There's Highline Trail to Grinnell Glacier or to Garden Wall Overlook.
Yeah, there's a lot of different routes
there's like the one we did where you do Highline Trail to Garden Wall.
Yeah.
To the Loop. What is it? Loop Trail?
The Loop Trailhead. Yeah, that's like a shuttle bus stop. Yeah.
Yeah. And then there's like, obviously there's other trails that split off from there, and there's a little chalet.
Yeah. Yeah, there is a chalet. The Granite Park Chalet is kind of further along the Highline Trail, and that was a cool little stop. There is technically places like there's a couple rooms there. I don't know how you get reservations there, but there's technically a couple rooms there.
It's a place if you're like backcountry camping.
Yeah, exactly. Permits for
there. There's water there.
There's water, and there. I think they might sell snacks too. I'm not sure.
I think there was some sign that we had seen for that.
Yeah, and then there's restrooms and stuff. So that's like a cool little spot that's on Highline Trail for those people that are hiking like longer distances, essentially. Yeah. Any other fun, hikes that we did?
Yeah, so a hike we started our day with before we did Highline. So from the Logan Pass Visitor Center is Hidden Lake Overlook.
Yeah, that one's cool.
That was a nice little trail. Unfortunately, we did get to the overlook, but we couldn't get down to the lake just because of bear activity. But it's one of the most popular trails in the park.
Yep.
Specifically within the Logan Pass area.
Yeah, and it's pretty family friendly too.
And it's got a raised boardwalk, which leads from the visitor center over fragile alpine meadows, and then takes you to be able to overlook the lake.
Yeah. Very cool place.
Yeah.
Be aware of ice.
Yeah, we went early. We started sunrise there. And middle of July, and
at
sunrise ice on, and like black ice, so not necessarily visible.
Yeah,
on
the boardwalk. Itself. Yeah,
so that is something to be mindful of.
Yeah. There were some older people struggling around us, so yeah, definitely something to keep in mind of.
Take small steps. Don't try to take big steps. That way.
We were sliding a little bit. But once the sun came up, it was totally fine.
It cleared up perfectly fine. But we did see a lot of wildlife on this trail.
We did, yeah. We saw bighorn sheep. We saw mountain goats. We saw
marmots.
Lots of marmots. We saw so much wildlife on this trail.
We tried spotting bears. Since the
overlook looks down on the lake,
which they had closed that portion of the trail for
because of bear activity. So we're like trying to Carl's using his zoom lens to try to find bears. We didn't see anything, but it was cool. It was definitely lots of wildlife, definitely a great option for
and
families, and for it's a pretty short, relatively easy hike. That will give you the opportunity to potentially see cool wildlife and everything. So definitely a cool one.
We definitely recommend arriving around sunrise or at sunrise, even though there is potential for ice on the boardwalk. But for parking's sake, we definitely recommend arriving that early, because the parking lot fills up quick.
And it's not very big.
All day.
Yeah, exactly. There were people driving around that parking lot for hours trying to get parking.
So hopefully the 3-hour time limit will help with this.
Yeah.
This trail is a trail that you can do within the 3 hours very easily.
Yeah. Definitely. But still worth to be there early, to get there at sunrise. Not only, partly because of the parking and just peace of mind, get there at sunrise, you can find parking, and then you can, even if the boardwalk potentially is icy or not. Just the more wildlife sightings that you could potentially see.
Yeah, and the lighting is just stunning that early in the day.
Yeah.
It is. Do
definitely
the hike,
worth it.
come back, and then you can stop in the visitor center because you'll get there before it opens. But
yeah, exactly. Stop on the way back, and then
you can pick up a shirt like what Kelley got, because that's where she got her shirt from.
Yeah.
We got our stickers there as well. We always pick up stickers at all of the.
Well, you can't go to a national park and not get a sticker.
So.
So definitely a cool little hike. Definitely highly recommend that one. And then one other hike that we highly recommend is Grinnell Glacier Trail.
Yeah.
So this one is truly like a bucket list hike. It is just incredible. This particular hike is in the Many Glacier area of Glacier. And then it basically takes you past multiple different vibrant turquoise lakes, and then it takes you eventually to Grinnell Glacier, where there's like icebergs in a lake that, next to a glacier with the mountains. So it's just really scenic the entire way. Has the most beautiful turquoise lakes that you can see in Glacier. And then it culminates at that lake with the icebergs and everything. So ice chunks and stuff. So it was really cool. Definitely highly worth it. Keep in mind, like for us, we weren't able to do the whole thing, which was kind of sad.
Kind of sad. Yeah.
So they had closed. So we had done at least up to where we could see like some of the prettiest lakes in the park, but they closed off the very last portion of the hike because of bear activity. Well, because there was there was a carcass
on the trail
of like a deer or some other animal, and they were worried about bear activity, so they closed down like the very end of the hike, so we weren't able to finish it, unfortunately.
3/4 of the hike, but couldn't finish it.
So that is one we have to go back and we have to finish, but still worth it. Even if we just were able to see what we saw, it was still absolutely beautiful.
Yeah. Is this? I might be mixing this up with another park.
Mm-hmm.
Did some of the lakes have the boat shuttles that would shuttle you across?
That's not this park.
That's not this park.
Well, actually, was there a shuttle?
Because it was like you walked away and then you could catch a shuttle.
I forgot. Yeah, there is.
From the from the hotel, you could shuttle across the lake and then catch another
I'm
shuttle.
wrong. You were right. There is a shuttle. There is like a little boat shuttle across the lake. I don't really know the details about it, but you
could just hop on and it would shuttle you across and back.
I'm not sure about free. I'm not remember. Sure.
I know we had the option to take it and we didn't.
I don't know if it was free though. Like the one in Grand Tetons wasn't free. I don't know if it was free or not, but it is an option if you have less of an ability to hike and want to still explore some of the Many Glacier area. I think there are boat shuttles that technically do run in this area.
Like every 15 minutes or something.
Yeah. So just, something to keep in mind.
We tried racing it on the way back.
Yeah, we did. So we were hiking like next to it, and we were trying to get back to the lodge before the boat shuttle did.
People were like coming off and crossing from one shuttle to the next, and we were like, I wonder if we can beat them back to the lodge.
Did we win? I was gonna say I don't think we won. I think the boat got there first.
We got a nice head start.
Yeah, and we were like, oh, we got this.
We got this. And then the path or the trail kind of like curved into the mainland, and then we like came back out, and that part the boat caught us then.
Yep. I should mention another popular trail in Glacier is Avalanche Lake Trail. It's just a really pretty lake with mountains, and like the mountains themselves oftentimes have like little waterfalls that run down, and it's another really popular, really beautiful hike to consider as well in Glacier.
Yep.
Any other hiking things that you wanted to talk about?
I think that's all for hikes, but there are a lot of things that you have to keep in mind when hiking in Glacier.
That is for sure.
And as we've already mentioned, kind of starting early is key.
Exactly.
That helps with just finding parking. A lot of the trails, the parking lots are on the smaller side for as popular as the park is.
Yeah.
Hopefully the shuttle will help with that some. But you also have the best chance of seeing wildlife at this time of day.
Absolutely.
And we saw, say, within that sunrise to early morning.
I was going to say,
first
like the
couple
first
hours of the day,
3 hours is when we saw
the most wildlife.
Like pretty much all the wildlife we saw was in the first 3 hours.
So the only time that we saw it a little later in the day was when we were at Garden Wall.
Yeah,
But
that is true. But that was such a high elevation at that point. Yeah.
It didn't, but the rest of the park was all, we saw it within the first couple hours, and then we didn't really see
as much
wildlife the rest of the day.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. And then with wildlife, with hiking, obviously bear spray is a necessity. So, and you should not only have bear spray, but you should know how to use it. So with knowing how to use it, just keep in mind that bear spray isn't like insect repellent. It is not something that you spray on yourself or your gear. Do not do that. I read on the National Park website that it actually attracts bears. I don't understand how that works, but anyways, it is not meant to spray on yourself. It is meant to spray at a bear that is approaching you aggressively.
Yeah.
So
it's a deterrent.
Exactly. It's a deterrent. It's supposed to scare them off. And then, in terms of the bear spray, just know that you can't fly with it. You can't bring it with you on a flight. So you can, you'll need to get some once you get near Glacier, or, for us, we got some in Grand Teton because that's where we were at. But, so just keep that in mind. And then with the bear spray, you can rent it. There are places like Glacier Outfitters near the Apgar Visitor Center, so near like Lake McDonald, that you can rent bear spray. You can buy bear spray at different areas. So there's options for getting your hands on bear spray, but you're absolutely going to want to have it. You're going to want to just give yourself that peace of mind that if something were to happen and you did encounter a bear, that you at least have it and can use it to deter a bear. That being said, your chances of actually seeing a bear are very small. Like, it's not common for, bears to really interact much with humans. In the last 25 years, there's only been 7 bear attacks, or like bear attacks on humans. So it's not like it's a common thing, but it's better to be safe than sorry.
Yeah.
Some things to keep in mind to decrease your risks of, having a bear attack would be to hike in groups. A bear is more likely to attack a solo hiker, and then make noise. You don't want to sneak up on bears. That's when they're startled, is when they're more likely to attack. So definitely talk to your people that you're hiking with. Definitely make noise. That can kind of help to deter bears from coming close to you, essentially. Don't run on trails.
No.
I know that trail runners and stuff do exist. I just would not, in an area like Glacier, do any trail running. I don't think it's worth it.
Oftentimes bears see something running as prey.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So if you encounter a bear, don't run away from it.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're a trail runner, just be extra careful.
Yeah. I wouldn't. I wouldn't if I were you. But
trail running in that area.
Exactly. But in general, you just don't want to be running away from a bear, because then it thinks that it needs to chase you, essentially. So do not run away. And then don't leave your don't feed bears, obviously, but also don't leave your food, your bags, your gear, your camping things out and about, not where you are located. So for instance, if you're on a hike and you have your backpack that has some food in it, don't put your backpack down and then walk over this way to take a photo or whatever. Have your backpack on you. Even just walking a little bit away can give that bear an opportunity to go into your bag and try to retrieve the food that it wants. So just keep your valuables with you. Unfortunately, when bears learn to kind of rely on human food, that's when things can become a problem. So be smart, don't feed the bears, even if you don't mean to, just keep your things with you.
Yep.
Don't leave things out. Use bear storage containers. Yeah.
Yep. Some other things to consider is that in Glacier, you really don't have any cell service.
Mm-hmm.
So you'll want to download maps ahead of time, so that way you have your trail maps. So if you're on all trails, having those downloaded, having Google Maps or Apple Maps downloaded for navigation. You just want to have that peace of mind to always know that you have the ability to navigate. So that way you don't get lost. Other things to keep in mind is to stay flexible. You never know what trails are going to be open or roads, just due to, weather conditions or wildlife activity. Oftentimes, like, one of the reasons they haven't had many bear attacks is they do a pretty good job of tracking where the bears are. So they frequently are closing full trails or parts of trails. As we mentioned, we
that was
had a couple times where
something that we didn't know about before going to Glacier that just did surprise us, but we can understand why they're cautious,
Yeah, because other places they just be on the lookout for bears or whatever, like have your bear spray. Like they do a
good job
of trying to protect people as much as possible, especially
the bears.
And the
both
bears,
ways. Yeah,
I mean, having the highest concentration of grizzlies, who are known to be a little more aggressive. It just helps just protect everybody.
Exactly.
So just keep that in mind. Have, alternate trails in mind that you might want to do. So that way, if, you get there and a trail's closed that afternoon or day or partially closed, you can go do another hike in the area.
Definitely.
Make sure you have trekking poles with you. We found this to be key, especially with doing multiple hikes in a day or longer hikes. Like, it made it possible.
Yeah, we would not have been able to do. We did, I think it was 18 miles between Hidden Lake Overlook plus Highline plus Glacier plus Garden Wall Trail, like that offshoot trail. And that was equivalent to like 18 miles worth of hiking in one day and over like 8 or 9 hours. And that was fully exhausting. And I do not think we would have been able to do that without trekking poles. So,
and then we did Grinnell Glacier the next day, which definitely would not have happened without hiking poles.
Yeah, we were exhausted.
Yep.
So definitely recommend.
Yeah, definitely have hiking poles or trekking poles with you. Have extra snacks, water, sun protection, headlamps, extra batteries, and a first aid kit.
Yeah, all great things.
All should be in your hiking bag.
Yep.
You just never know. If you get caught out in a spot on the trail and need something, it's always good to have it with you. Carry that extra weight versus being sorry that you didn't. Another thing which there's multiple ways of doing this now, is having some form of communication, whether this be a satellite specific phone or like the iPhones now have satellite communication,
like messaging or something,
and different things within them. Just with the high abundance of bears within the park, having that ability to communicate if something were to happen. Or if you just get lost on a trail, like having the ability to communicate is key.
I mean, fortunately, a lot of these trails do have a lot of humans. So generally people will be able to help you if you get lost, most likely, but especially with the safety part, it's better to have a satellite connection of some sort in order to...
Especially if you're doing backcountry, any of the backcountry trails.
Especially if you're doing backcountry camping and stuff, or like just the backcountry trails and stuff. That is very true.
And then, as always, just make sure you're following the Leave No Trace guidelines. Make sure you're packing in and packing out. Just helps to leave places in as good of condition as they can be in.
Yep. Excellent. Yeah. Next, we wanted to go into a little bit of kind of things to keep in mind for visiting Glacier National Park in 2026 specifically. So there have definitely been some changes since last year. So last year, the going to the Sun Road did require timed entry reservations in order to drive. However, this year, there are no longer timed entry reservations required. You can drive going to the Sun Road whenever you want, whatever day you want, whatever time you want. There is no timed entry that is required. Yep. So that is a nice change for people who are visiting the park. However, with that, they've also changed, we kind of already mentioned, but there's a 3-hour time limit for parking at Logan Pass. So in order to hike some of the longer hikes, like we had mentioned, like Highline Trail and Garden Wall, you will need to take the park shuttle in order to be able to do some of those hikes fully.
Yep.
So in order to do the park shuttle, you are going to have to get a reservation for the park shuttle. So the park shuttle never has had to have reservations in the past. It's always been a free park shuttle that's kind of run constantly throughout the park along the Going to the Sun Road. But this year is the first year that you will be required to get a shuttle ticket in advance in order to be able to take the park shuttle.
Yeah, so they've kind of flip-flopped things this year.
Exactly. Yeah, it's just different. It'll be interesting to see what happens, but
yeah, I could see it being really useful because probably not as many people are doing the longer trails. Mm-hmm. And so it's like maybe not as many people will need the park shuttle. Mm-hmm. So you'd have the ability for more people to be able to drive.
Yeah, and it would lead to more carryover for like
turnover rates
for Logan Pass.
Yeah.
Like I can understand why they're doing it, but also like
it
as
could be frustrating
hikers who do really enjoy some of those longer hikes, like that would have been very frustrating.
Yeah.
For us not to have been able to start
early,
like Highline really early, or like it just
because for the timed entry for the driving for going to the Sun Road, I think the earliest slot you could get was 7 a.m. last year.
Yeah, I don't know.
So like we're not fully sure of
what
when
the shuttle runs, like what their hours are. Yeah. But still, just something to keep in mind. Like you won't be able to do like the full Highline Trail starting at sunrise this year because you'll have to take the shuttle in order to do the full Highline Trail. And in order to take the shuttle, you'll have to just take whatever their earliest shuttle option is, which could be, I don't know when it is, but 7 or 8 a.m. or something like that. Like, so just keep that in mind, So definitely something to keep in mind. The shuttle tickets themselves will be released in 2 different waves. The first wave is going to be 60 days in advance, beginning May 2nd, which from recording, that is yesterday. So, and then these shuttle tickets will be kind of released on a rolling basis from there. So for instance, today's tickets were released for, I think like July 2nd or 3rd or something like that. So if you're going to Glacier National Park in July, you're going to be wanting to buy your shuttle tickets in May in order to be able to to take the shuttle in July. If you're going to Glacier in August and you want to get shuttle tickets, you'll need to be looking in June in order to book those shuttle tickets in order to be able to take the shuttle in August. Hopefully that kind of makes sense.
Yeah.
But
so
that's the first round of shuttle tickets. Yeah. And then there's also another round of shuttle tickets that's released the night before as well. And those tickets will be released at like 7 p.m. Mountain Time the night before your visit.
Yeah.
Or like the night before you're trying to take the shuttle. And then, so that's like the remaining tickets will be released at that time for the shuttle.
Yeah. And they just released on their website their departure times and return times, which we'll put in the description below for you to be able to look up more. But right now it looks like boarding locations will be Apgar Visitor Center, Lake McDonald Lodge on the western side, and then on the eastern side, St. Mary's Visitor Center and Rising Sun Picnic Area. For Apgar, St. Mary's, and Rising Sun, the earliest available time slot will be 6 a.m.
Oh, interesting. That's earlier than I thought.
Yeah, and then from Lake McDonald will be 7. And then it kind of varies from there depending on how many additional slots there are. So like Apgar is like 6, 7, 9, and 10. Lake McDonald is only at 7 and 9. St. Mary's goes 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11. And same for Rising Sun. And then Logan Pass return times, I'm not going to get completely into, but like it runs from like 7:30 in the morning until 7:30 or 8 o'clock at night, depending on.
Well, that's good to know because I was also worried with people like if they're trying to do one of these longer hikes like later in the day, I mean, you'll still need to keep the shuttle hours in mind, but at least it is open. The hours are longer than I was expecting, so that's good.
But you do have to pay attention because, like, if you're trying to get back to Apgar or Lake McDonald, there are certain time slots that are only taking you to Apgar and not to Lake McDonald as well. So just be cognizant of that. Obviously, it's going to take a little more planning.
Yeah. And that's the thing is that with these shuttles, like you're just going to want to know like what day, if you want to do one of these longer hikes on, like what day you want to do it on, and then making sure you plan accordingly and get the shuttle tickets in advance that you need and kind of plan out your day in advance.
Yeah. And then they run the shuttle about, according to the website, about every 30 to 90 minutes. And there is no return shuttle between 12 p.m. and 3 p.m. going eastbound.
Interesting. So going towards like St. Mary.
Yeah. So, yeah, they've got a full map and everything you need to know on the website. We will post that in the description, the link to that. So that way you can, help with your planning and find out more information.
Yeah. It's definitely interesting how they've changed things. But we'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah. Anything else with like the planning stuff or the shuttle tickets that you want to talk about?
I think that's all for now for that stuff.
Yeah.
If there is anything that we missed, we'll try to put it in.
Yeah.
In the link in the description below.
Actually, I did think of something. Sorry. If you're visiting before like July 1st, so if you're visiting in like late June, there is a potential that the Going to the Sun Road may or may not be open. If it is, the parking limit doesn't come into play until July 1st. So, you don't have to worry about that. The shuttle tickets essentially if you're visiting before July 1st. But on the flip side, you may or may not be able to drive the full Going to the Sun Road in late July. Or late June, sorry.
Yeah.
So.
And
then
get into lodging.
Yeah.
Like obviously we've mentioned several lodges within the park.
Yes. So there are several lodges within the park. We kind of mentioned those already. So that would be like Lake McDonald Lodge, Many Glacier Hotel. Those kind of in-park hotels are really beautiful, but also do book out way in advance. So if you don't have those already, you aren't visiting those in 2026, so sorry.
Yeah.
But they are beautiful options if you are considering a Glacier National Park trip in your future, like in further years, definitely consider, those lodges within the park. They definitely look stunning and like would be super convenient for visiting the park essentially. But outside of that, if you want a lot of access to things like amenities and lodging and dining, and like if you want to have like all the options, then you'll want to stay on the western side of the park. You're going to want to stay in West Glacier, in Whitefish, in Kalispell, some of those kind of areas on the western side. There's just the most options over there. However, if you do stay on that western side of the park, you have to keep in mind that your drive times may be longer for certain areas that you're trying to get to. So like from like Whitefish or West Glacier to Logan Pass, for instance, it's probably going to take you like an hour to get there. So if you're trying to get to Logan Pass at sunrise, it just might take a little while. Just keep that in mind.
The later in the day, the longer more than likely it will get.
Yeah. And then as well as like if you're trying to get from Whitefish or West Glacier to Many Glacier, you're talking about like a 2-hour drive to get to Many Glacier on the eastern northern side of the park. So like it just is further away from that area, which isn't the end of the world, but at the same time, like the parking situation at Many Glacier could be difficult as well. So like if you're wanting to visit there, the parking might be difficult to find as well. So I know they did a huge construction project last year to work on the parking and everything around the Many Glacier area. So I don't know exactly what parking is going to look like in 2026, but if it's anything like the rest of Glacier National Park, there's going to be difficulty with parking.
Yeah, no matter what, there'll be difficulty, especially in peak season.
Exactly. So with that in mind, although there are the most options on the western side of the park, I think that an insider tip that you should consider if you're visiting Glacier National Park is actually staying on the eastern side of the park.
Yes.
So we stayed at a lodge. I don't remember where exactly it was, but it was near St. Mary on the eastern side of the park, and it was perfect. It was convenient. It was like 45 minutes from Logan Pass, like 30 minutes from Many Glacier. It was like perfect. I know it was a little bit further from like Lake McDonald, but that wasn't the area that we most wanted to focus our time on anyways. And yeah, it was just so much more convenient to all of these other areas of Glacier. So if you are looking for convenience, then I would probably recommend staying on the eastern side of the park in like St. Mary, or there's a few different lodging options, but there's not a ton of lodging options either. So just keep that in mind. Yeah. There's a really cool hotel area. St. Mary Village is right there, and that one has like really nice, we ate a really good dinner there. Yeah. And it has nice like accommodations and stuff. So
gas is also located there.
Yes, gas is also located there. So it kind of has everything you need, but is much smaller and just isn't as widely available. Like there's not as many options on that side of the park.
So if you're looking like to plan a longer trip, maybe trying to stay a couple of days on the eastern side.
Yeah.
Trying to get reservations there. That way you can like, you stay on the western side for the early part of the trip, and then as you're trying to progress to visit more of the eastern side, being able to stay on the eastern side can be very helpful.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. So definitely recommend. I mean, both sides are nice. There's not really a problem either way. You just have to keep in mind, the drive times and everything. Yeah. And then obviously there's a bunch of camping options as well. So yeah, there's a lot of lodging options.
Yeah, for all budgets too, because like the place we stayed, it was more like think of like a college dormitory in the sense of like, you had your room, but you were sharing a bathroom, and there was like a common
I mean,
area.
It wasn't as bad as a college dormitory.
No,
I guess.
I mean it was nicer than that.
It was nice, but it was
of like you have a common area. And
exactly. We had like our own private room with two like twin beds. Those definitely gave off college dorm vibes. But you had to like share bathrooms and like. Yeah, there was a common area with the couch and the TV and stuff. Yeah. So it was cool.
But they also had a campground on site. If we can, I don't know, we'll find where we stayed and we'll link, put a link or something
in the description. I will say it's not like something, that particular lodge was just something we came across through research. It wasn't something that was on like an Expedia or something like that. Yeah. And that's where we were able to get a really good price on it. So I think it was like, I don't remember. I want to say like $150 a night, which was way cheaper than a lot of the official park lodges and stuff. Yeah. So definitely something to keep in mind. There's lots of different options, and you can usually find something that you can make it work, basically.
Yeah. But okay. Ratings for Glacier.
Yeah, what are your thoughts? Do you feel like Glacier was overrated, underrated, justified?
I would say that it was overrated. JK, just kidding.
I was gonna say that was gonna make me sad.
Probably, well, it is of the national parks we've been to in my top 5. Yeah,
absolutely.
So
it could be my favorite national park.
Yeah. No. So I think it's definitely a justified rating for as hyped as it is.
And it's a lot of people's favorite national park.
And I understand why.
Exactly. But it makes complete sense.
So definitely in my top 5. So it's definitely rated.
Yeah, I agree. I think that from the crazy views, like in the mountains and the some of the funnest hikes.
Yeah.
Like so beautiful with constant views, and then combined with the wildlife. It was just like, there was just so much to see and do. And like, especially if you love hiking, like you're going to love this park. Like there's no way you can't love Glacier if you're a hiker.
Or a photographer. Like,
or a photographer. Yeah.
There is so much to do and see.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Well, how does it compare to other national parks?
Well, I kind of said it already, but I definitely... So it's so hard to compare with other national parks, but...
Okay, let's put it within the Rockies.
Okay. So
because
what do you mean?
It's within that range. We have Rocky Mountain National Park, which also is a very mountainous.
Yeah, so Rocky Mountain National Park is in Colorado for anybody who's doesn't really know national parks that well.
Wildlife.
Yeah, it does. Both parks have great wildlife. Glacier wins out with the wildlife.
Has also a really beautiful scenic driving road that isn't open all year round.
Yes, they both do have scenic drives and everything. Glacier wins.
Yeah, no.
So going to the Sun Road beats Trail Ridge Road in Rocky Mountain.
Yeah.
The wildlife in Glacier beats the wildlife in Rocky Mountain, even though the wildlife in Rocky Mountain was very, very cool. Like it's definitely a top 5 park for wildlife, I would say.
Absolutely.
At least from the parks that we've been to. We have not been to the Alaska parks, so we can't speak on those yet.
Not yet.
But just something to keep in mind. But yeah, I think Glacier wins out if you're comparing it to Rocky Mountain. How about like Glacier versus like the Tetons?
Tetons are probably tied.
Oh, tied. That's tough.
From mountain views. Now, when you talk about the lakes and the wildlife, the lakes definitely went out. In Glacier. Wildlife, I don't know. That's tough because that can like vary depending on when you go, like, and what you see. Yeah. So I think we got lucky where we saw a ton of wildlife. Yeah. But you have we saw moose and Tetons, like. Yeah.
But we didn't see any other types of wildlife in the Tetons, and we saw a great variety of wildlife in Glacier.
Variety. So I don't know. Yeah. I mean, more variety probably in Glacier.
Yeah.
But they're probably like.
It's close.
Yeah.
It's close. I say that Glacier wins out for me specifically, but it is close. Like the Tetons are stunning. Like the mountains themselves are just towering and they're so beautiful. Yeah. So it is hard to compare. If you were to compare just the mountains, then the Tetons probably win. But if you compare the whole experience of a national park, Glacier probably wins. Yeah. So,
would you go back?
Is that a trick question?
Already answered this.
Is that a trick question? No. Yes, we definitely want to go back. It's got to happen.
Yeah, I think I'd like to take more of an extended trip. Yeah. To explore more.
Yeah. So just to give you guys a little bit of background, we did a huge national park trip last summer where we went to Theodore Roosevelt National Park, to Wind Cave National Park, to Badlands National Park, to Yellowstone National Park, and Grand Teton National Park, all the way up to Glacier. So this was like the 6th national park on this epic road trip. And it was like, it culminated in this beautiful Glacier National Park experience, but also like...
Yeah, to fit all of those...
To fit everything, it took away from the time that we had in Glacier.
Because if you don't know, we both work full time, so we're non-remote, so it's not like we can just pack up our RV, go somewhere, spend a while,
like a month at a park or something. So
we are limited on PTO. I mean, Kelley has really good PTO. I have it to be able to set my schedule, so I'm a bit more flexible, but we are still capped under those restrictions, so we do try to fit as much in as we can into our trip. So that did limit us on how long we could stay. So we definitely want to go back and
spend for a longer time
period
and not combine it with other parks. Just do Glacier.
Just do Glacier.
And just spend like a week in Glacier and just do everything that we possibly can that we haven't done or even that we have done.
Yeah. But if you are interested in doing a road trip like what we did, or just want more trail information or other different information, or itineraries, different things, we do have, and we recently released our Great American West road trip guide.
Yeah.
Which has a bunch of itineraries.
Yeah, it has itineraries from like this whole road trip that we just described. So the whole road trip through North Dakota, South Dakota, Wyoming, and Montana. It also has a road trip specifically for if you just want Wyoming and Montana, and if you just want North Dakota and South Dakota. It has different lengths of stays for different itineraries. So there's definitely different options there. It has everything you need for visiting all of those national parks.
Yep.
So
plus
even if
Mount Rushmore, plus
exactly, plus other spots as well
within national monuments.
Exactly. So like even if you're just exploring Glacier National Park this year, if you have an interest in exploring some of those other national parks, at other times, then it still would be worth your time with this guide because it comes with everything.
Yeah, it has like literally everything, and as more information, like if they change anything, like we'll update the guide, and you'll get access to that for free. But yeah, so the guide itself will be linked below, so you can check that out.
Definitely, and it includes like maps and stuff too.
Yep, it has custom Google Maps that has all the pins for different recommendations and other stuff, as well as like recommendations for depending on the trip where to fly in and fly out of.
Yeah.
Different lodging recommendations, or like direct links. So, it's got everything in it. So we highly recommend if you love national parks and then want to do a road trip, definitely check it out.
Yep.
I think that's everything for Glacier.
Yeah. If you're interested, or if you enjoyed this podcast, I guess I should say, if you could give us a 5-star review. And if you could, subscribe, then we would greatly appreciate it.
It helps the podcast out a lot.
We're just getting started.
Yeah.
We're excited how this is going.
Yeah. Do you know what our next episode's going to be about?
I don't know yet.
Okay. We'll probably still be in the...
We're going to still be in this region. I'm just not sure which national park we're going to take on next. But it'll be somewhere in either Wyoming or the Dakotas. So just stay tuned for that. And then, I think that's all I got.
Yeah. So we will catch you in the next one.
Bye.